Hello everyone, I'm happy to be able to speak to you. My name is Evelin Lindner. I'm the founding president of the Human Dignity and Humiliation Studies Network and one of the initiators of the World Dignity University Initiative. I would like to draw your attention to one of the fields of interest that I have in my work. It is the role of dignity and humiliation for genocide. And I would like to present to you a text that I wrote, and it is available on our website for you, and it is titled Genocide, Humiliation and Inferiority, an Interdisciplinary Perspective in the book Genocides by the Oppressed, Subaltern Genocide in Theory and Practice. It came out in 2009. And I would like to read the abstract to you. Genocide has many perplexing characteristics. For example, is it solely and fundamentally about killing? If so, why are so many genocide victims not merely killed, but elaborately humiliated beforehand? I did my doctoral research, among others, in Rwanda, and there it was very, very clear that killing was just the last step. Humiliating was the point. You know, the former Tutsi elite, the typical description would be that they were taller than the Hutu servants. Hutu means servant. So in the genocide, the tall Tutsis would be cut short, literally, by hacking their legs shorter. So it's a literal bringing them down. So this was the point, bringing them down. Furthermore, are the victims of genocide not members of rather powerless minorities, whose significance is blown up artificially? If so, why are resources mobilized to humiliate and kill people who are already powerless? As in Rwanda, also as in Germany, you know, in Rwanda, the Tutsi minority was really powerless, a humiliated minority already. Why put so much energy into eradicating them totally? Why, in short, are powerless people perceived as a threat? This chapter draws on the author's work on humiliation studies and other analyses of humiliation in the genocide studies literature. It suggests that neither ethnic fault lines, nor dwindling resources or other rational conflicts of interest, nor simple scapegoating, nor any general evilness of human nature may lie at the heart of genocide. Rather, complex psychological mindsets and behavioral clusters operate according to their own rationality. These may entail acts of humiliation as a response to fear of humiliation, or more precisely, to an imagined fear of future humiliation based on past ones. Hitler's narrative was that one had to kill all the Jews because to prevent to be humiliated by a world Jewry in the future. The same in Rwanda. Genocide as a prevention of future imagined humiliation by an elite, the Tutsi elite, that humiliated the majority of the Rwandan population in the past. This was the view from the extremist Hutus who perpetrated the genocide. So, genocide as a healing for, in quotation marks, for feared humiliation in the future. Imagine. So, accordingly, genocide's perpetrators may be drawn not from elites, or not only from elites, but also from a recently risen underclass exhibiting a complex web of features, sometimes labeled as an inferiority complex. When I went to Rwanda, I was told, you know, after the genocide, it was no longer a good way to proceed by asking a person, are you a Hutu or a Tutsi? One would not ask that. However, people told me, look at their bodily posture. Hutus, servants, Hutu means servant, were, had it embodied in their bodies to be a bit bowed, while Tutsis had a proud demeanor, very straight, very tall. So, and you see that the genocide was not perpetrated by the proud, elite, former elite, but it was perpetrated by underlings, formerly oppressed underlings, who felt oppressed and humiliated in the past, who had risen to power and were able to you could say, lash back in a cycle of humiliation, to give back. And I would say that Desmond Tutu is right in saying that the white people in South Africa ought to be very thankful, since Mandela did not go down the same path or a similar path as in Rwanda. The rising underlings who have accumulated feelings of humiliation, when they get power, they can become very violent, perhaps more violent than established elites would become. These dynamics are relevant not only for genocide, but also for global terrorism, and thus represent an important field of inquiry, not only locally, but also for global human security. So this is a call on all victims in the world to be aware that victimhood and feelings of humiliation can bring to the fore cycles of humiliation that are terrible. We have always one wonderful participant in our workshop in New York on transforming humiliation in violent conflict, who speaks of the syndrome, ethical exemption syndrome, post-victim ethical exemption syndrome, that you think, I have suffered, therefore I'm exempted from ethical behavior. So I think this is a very interesting, intricate analysis of genocide, and I am very much looking forward to hearing your reflections and your thoughts.